Hey, good morning, guys. How you doing? Well, actually, it's almost afternoon by now. Uh, didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night, but ask me if I care. I do not. Because, again, we got that. Totally worth it. 100%. Actually, uh, this alone would have made it worth it. I had to, I think it was around 8:45 or so before the crab. And as you can see, my total number of power powder, sorry, we're talking about power powder here, has increased. Plus, obviously, I have a whole bunch more stuff to be working on this. This has been building up since last crab, and I don't even know when I'll be able to start working on that pile of shards. But I have increased my powder, and that was with 3 full boosts going. I could have done it in 2 probably, but yesterday or middle of the day, I was kind of getting burnt out a little bit, so I cleared map and I did Dr. T and stuff and wasted a bit of time. As I said last night, the time was a factor for me. Came down to under 8 minutes to spare, under 8 minutes left in the event before I finished stage 59 and got the diamond and quit, which in hindsight I now wish I had not done, because a bunch of other people seem to have done that as well. So I probably, by keeping on, I had 3 attacks left. By keeping on a little bit more, I could have improved on this position quite a bit, most likely. It was also, I mean, if I could have gotten in maybe 2 attacks on stage 60, that would have bumped me up a good bit. But again, time was a factor. I waited a little too long to make my final push, but all things considered, can't be sorry. I mean, really hilarious how it ended, because like I said, 8 minutes left to go. Finished stage 59, and less than a minute later I got booted out of the game because somebody attacked me. I don't know who was, let's see. Do we have probably that one? I thought it was Chinese letters. I think it was this guy. Yeah, and less than a minute after I finished stage 59, and I placed the trophy, and I was sitting here admiring it, and then I got kicked from the game. So that's a fun story. Anyway, this would not have been possible without that new format, and I just have to say, the new format is remarkable. This is how it should have been all along. Why wasn't it this way all along? It's fantastic. Please, please, Supercell, keep doing crabs this way. Looks like no ice there. Since we've got nothing else to do, really, I'm going to go ahead and label. I'll scan my map, scout through some bases, and that way I can handle them more quickly later. But yeah, new format, wonderful. Would not have been possible for me to get. I've never been able to do it before. I've never been able to get a diamond because I don't have the time every 2 hours or 4 hours or 6 hours, and I believe on past crabs we have used each one of those time frames as a cap on your attacks. So when it was 2 hours, I forget which crab that was awful. That meant every 2 hours you had to log back into the game. Forget sleeping, you're not going to do it. Not ideal with warriors here. Ice. Nice trophies, bro. Yeah, probably an H. There's the dog. Never fails. It just never fails. He just likes the attention. We still have these tribe boosts for today. No ice, so not really an issue as far as that goes, but I'm thinking just pure RCZN there. But yeah, would not, if you have to attack every 2 hours, how do you have a life? How do you have even basic human functions are not possible? That's not, it was never a good format, which they realized. Supercell then changed, so it was different time frames, 4 hours and 6 hours, and then your attacks get capped. And then you still have to be logging in at that point, or you're losing extra valuable attacks that you could be making. Now that we would do with warriors. This is going to be a fun day later. So, and I was thinking about this last night, because go ahead, I know, I'm a nerd, but I was a bit amped after finishing the crab, and especially the way it ended too. I mean, it was kind of exciting for me because, again, has not been possible. A lot of golds, no diamonds, so popping that cherry, I suppose. But I didn't get to sleep till after 2, finished up obviously just before 12 when the event ends. Didn't get to sleep till after 2 because my mind was going. And I was thinking, even with the 6-hour time frame, you think about that. The crab starts at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. on a Friday. So, okay, let's say you're sitting there and you're waiting for the crab to pop up. And as soon as it does, you're ready to go and you start attacking. Now, usually, obviously those first stages are easy. Stages 1 to 20. Basically, Friday night I was out with my wife at a bar, having some drinks, listening to a band. I just opened the game up and loaded skanks and just dropped skanks and did stages 1 through 19 that way. I really was not even very much paying attention to it because I didn't have to be. So those are easy stages. So you run through a bunch of those. And so let's say you run through, probably, if you've got 6 attacks to waste, you get to maybe stage 35, maybe 38 before you run out of attacks. Maybe 40-ish if you're really good. Now, I don't love, let's see, those, no ice. Does have that. Honestly, I'm just going to go RCZM to the left on that one. Smoke up to this area, 1 shock, and ignore the other rocket launcher. But yeah, so you play 6 o'clock. You're ready to go. You start on your crabbing right away. You have your 6 attacks. You blast through the first 35 stages, and then you run out of attacks. All hypothetical. Okay, great. So then you can't attack, or your attacks don't fill up again for 6 hours. Now, it's probably going to take you a couple hours to do that many attacks. 3.5 minutes average per attack, maybe, which would be, I mean, they get longer as you go into the event, but those early stages, as I said, are pretty easy. So that would be the shorter attacks. Later on, it starts to take, you start running through the full attack time. I ran out of time, even the stage 58, I ran out of time on my first attack. Didn't have many troops left, wasn't going to finish it anyway, but that's not the point. So that's going to take you at least a couple hours, maybe more. So now it's 8 or 9 o'clock on Friday night. And you have no more attacks to do, so, but you really want to push, so you go to bed. And that means, if it's 8 o'clock, that means you're waking up at 2 in the morning if you really want to get the most out of your attacks, which you need to, if over the course of a weekend, you know? If your attacks are limited by time, you need to get the most out of, you can only build up to 6 attacks in hand, or 4 attacks in hand, or whatever it might be. You need to make the most of the attacks that you have, so then you're getting up in the middle of the night. For what? To play a mobile game? That's ridiculous. And then, so assuming you play for another, probably the stages start to get a little harder, so maybe 45 minutes or an hour at that point. Okay, so now if it was 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock, now it's probably 3 o'clock in the morning. You go get 6 more hours sleep. You're going to be waking up at 9 a.m., having had a poor night of interrupted sleep, to do it again. This is insanity. That is just not, it's no way to conduct business. And I don't know why Supercell ever set things up like that in the first place. You've set your game up to be in conflict with real life. The game's going to lose. The game is always going to lose because it's real life. I mean, you have things to do. We all have responsibilities. It's just ridiculous. So, we have fixed that. What are we looking at here? Probably critters behind and 2 shocks, so we can take some extra time. Use some extra GB for mine clearance, because boy, he does have a lot of mines there in the middle. So, that was the first thing. That's the biggest thing for me, is that this event was, it's completely revitalized, I guess. It's transformed by the fact of having all attacks in hand at once at the beginning of the event, and use them to the best of your ability. Go to town, you know, boost up your powder, do whatever you need to do, or boost up your statues, and yeah, have fun, knock yourself out, do your best. and that varies person to person, of course, but that was cool. Just completely remade the event and made it so much more fun. Also, I mean, as far as power powder went, I didn't have to boost like 5 times or 6 times, or it was 3 times, and it could have been 2 actually, except like I said, I needed a break in the middle of the day yesterday. It probably could have been 2, and I would have gotten to the same point in 6 hours, so 2 boost cycles. That is so much better also, and again, as always with the crabs, if you boost, if you push, you will come out ahead on powder, and that's really up till now, that's been the biggest reason for me to want to push on crabs. Now, if the format stays the same, I might have a second reason, which is that I think I can be competitive. I would actually try harder. I would set aside the time beforehand. I didn't know it was going to be that much fun, that much of a challenge. Let's see, we don't care about the shock mine there. I do know there's a boom mine back here. We care about those. Oh, how did we miss the boom mine in the middle? Alright, well, we don't need multiple mines, and we don't need boom mines. Shock mine's not an issue with warriors. So, that was cool. And also, I am really, really hoping that Supercell, honestly, not that, I mean, they're a huge company. They've made, what, $800 million or something off of mobile games, I heard recently. Good for them. But I mean, I just don't care too much about that specifically, but I do care about Boom Beach, because I love Boom Beach. So it would be great if they saw a spike in, as I think they might, if they saw a spike in Endless Reserve subscriptions over this. I would hope that people got excited. I would bet. Now, I went to Reddit this morning. I've been on the Boom Beach forums, and first of all, I've not heard one bad word about the new crab format. Everybody's raving about it. Love it. So that's important. And then also, there was one guy who posted I think it was on Reddit, who said that he's been playing the game for years, max level player, and he has never before spent a dime on Boom Beach. But he did this weekend, and as long as they keep the crab format like this, he said he would continue to pay for Endless Reserve. So, also I saw a really cool idea somewhere, don't know who to give the credit to, but there was one guy who had the idea that, oh, this is interesting. I'm thinking I'm actually going to flare to the back of the base, or I'll flare to the shock launcher and turn around, and then that way I just have like 2 shocks, 1, 2, 3, and then this one will be, and a bullet will have the blind spot of that one. Let's give that a shot. And definitely a barrage there. Definitely a barrage there. Yeah, of course you have a boom mine hidden back there. I know how this works. So, saw this really cool idea. Again, I don't know who to give the credit to, but liked it a lot. About a mini Endless Reserve subscription just for the crab. And some people will probably hate that. No, if I'm paying full price, then why should somebody else get it? No, listen. First of all, that's a great new source of revenue for Supercell, so that might incline them to, pay a little bit more attention to the game, which we want. And then also that might encourage people like this fella I was talking about. That might encourage people to go ahead and get Endless Reserves all the time. Okay, so we're going to end up being 1, 2, 3, and that should be plenty. Cool. Artillery for bullet. That would also be fantastic. Some people might try it out. I mean, think about it. If you pay $10 for a month, which I do, if you pay $10 for the month, if you pay $4 for the weekend, first of all, these people they're getting it for 3 or 4 days, so they're paying a much, much higher proportionally price for that privilege of using, having instant training, Endless Reserves. It's instant training now. I can't get used to that, and I like Endless Reserves better. But second of all, some people will probably try it out and find out that it is addictive to be able to do that and to be ready to go It's great for, I mean, it's great for everything. It's great for player bases, it's great for Dr. T, obviously for the crab. If you want to push, you don't have a chance of pushing without the instant training. So anyway, I can't think of a single bad thing to say about this crab event. It has been way more fun than normal. The only thing that I have to say is really it's the long-standing criticism that I have, which is I have 3 accounts. So with this account, obviously I was putting in as much time as I could. With the other 2, I would like to put in more because they're smaller accounts, so they actually need the resources. But I had to quit with those. Didn't have the time. It's just too much. It is a lot trying to do daily events and clear map and hit ops and do crab, and it's too much with multiple accounts. It's just not possible for everything to happen at once. That's not really, that's not really Supercell's fault. It's just kind of the way it is. I chose to have 3 accounts, so either way, it still worked out great because I got HQ 19 on the lower level account, and I got Gunboat. No, I already had Gunboat 21, but then I got Armory 21. And what else? I got something. I just finished off Gunboat. I got at least Armory 21 on the middle account, so that's a pretty big deal for me anyway. But yeah, so got big upgrades, good things, and then stopped because I needed to put all the focus on here for time constraints. But anyway, I loved it, and I hope everyone else would agree. And make sure you say so. Whatever forum you use. I know Drew is on, the community manager is on Discord and sometimes on Reddit. Try to catch his eye, talk it up, because if this went well, then Supercell will hopefully pay a bit more attention. I have rambled long enough, and I actually have to pay attention for my RCZM hits down here. So I'm going to sign off, and I'll see you, I don't know, catch you when I see you. Take care.